We have all heard of Marine snipers and how well they do their job. They are said to be the best in the world with an extremely high success rate. It is not surprising that many people would want to become Marine snipers. However, being one comes with a lot of responsibilities and risks. A small mistake could cost the lives of many. And if it does, you can rest assured that you will face some serious consequences for what you have done. This was exactly what happened in the case of a Marine sniper, who accidentally killed an Iraqi teenager during the Battle of Ramadi in Iraq. The sniper's name was Daniel Gillard, and he was so remorseful for what he had done that he contemplated taking his own life. At his trial, he was found guilty and was immediately handcuffed by cops. But before they could take him away, a 4-star general entered the courtroom. What did this general say to the young Marine? Stick around till the end of this video as we explore this incredible story in more detail. But before we begin, don't forget to hit the like button. Daniel Gillard was a 24-year-old Marine sniper when he made a terrible mistake. He shot and killed an innocent Iraqi teenager. The incident took place during the Battle of Ramadi in Iraq. Gillard was part of a 4-man sniper team. Their mission was to shoot al-Qaeda insurgents in the area. On the day of the incident, the team set up on the roof of a building. They were looking out for targets when they spotted a man carrying a white bucket. This was a good sign because carrying a white bucket was one of the insurgents' tactics. As soon as they saw the man, the snipers got into position and waited for him to get closer. When the man was within range, Gillard took the shot. Unfortunately, the man turned out to be an innocent Iraqi teenager. He was not an insurgent. Gillard felt terrible after realizing what he had done. He immediately called for medical assistance, but it was too late. The teenager had already died. He knew that he had made a mistake and he was afraid of what would happen next. The other members of his team tried to comfort him, but there was nothing anyone could say that would make him feel better. He knew that he would have to live with what he had done for the rest of his life. At the court hearing, Gillard's defense lawyer tried to convince the judge that he was not guilty of murder. He argued that Gillard had made a mistake and that he did not know that the person he was shooting at was a civilian. However, the prosecution argued that Gillard was guilty of murder. They said that he should have known that the person he was shooting at was a civilian and that he acted with malice aforethought. In the end, the judge agreed with the prosecution, and Gillard was found guilty of murder. As soon as the judge announced his verdict, cops entered the courtroom and handcuffed Gillard. He was then led out of the courtroom and taken to a military jail. Gillard was only 24 years old when he was sentenced to prison. He had been a Marine for 6 years, and had served 2 tours in Iraq before the incident. He was a highly decorated Marine and had received several medals for his service, including the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal and the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal. Despite his decorated service, Gillard was convicted of murder and sentenced to 20 years in prison. Gillard was devastated when he heard his sentence. He had never intended to kill an innocent person, and he did not deserve to go to prison for 20 years. He began to cry and begged the judge for mercy. But the judge was not moved and he remained unrepentant. Gillard was then led out of the courtroom and taken to a military jail. He spent the next 20 years in prison thinking about what he had done. Was released in 2030. Now, let's get back to the story. Just when everyone thought that Gillard's nightmare was over, a 4-star general entered the courtroom. Everyone in the room was shocked to see who it was. It was General John R. Allen. He was the commanding general of the 2nd Marine Division. Allen was a highly respected Marine, and everyone in the courtroom stood up when they saw him enter. Allen then walked up to Gillard and apologized for what had happened to him. He told Gillard that he was sorry that he had been treated so harshly, and that he did not deserve to go to prison for 20 years. Allen then asked Gillard to forgive him and to move on with his life. Everyone in the courtroom was stunned when they heard what Allen had to say. No one had expected the 4-star general to apologize to Gillard. Allen was a highly respected Marine, and he could have easily ignored what had happened to Gillard, but he chose to apologize anyway. This showed how much respect and admiration Allen had for Gillard. Allen then left the courtroom. Everyone was wondering what he had done. Had he come to save Gillard from going to prison for 20 years? Only Allen knew the answer to that question. There is no doubt that Daniel Gillard is one of the bravest Marines ever. He risked his life every day in Iraq, and he never backed down from a fight. But even the bravest Marines make mistakes sometimes. And when those mistakes result in the death of an innocent person, they have to be held accountable. However, in Gillard's case, I believe that he was treated unfairly. He was only 24 years old when he was sentenced to 20 years in prison. And in my opinion, that is too harsh of a sentence for someone that young to serve. I am glad that a 4-star general showed up in court to apologize to him. I am sure that meant a lot to Gillard and helped him through a tough time. The most important thing is that the general acknowledged what he had done wrong. That takes a lot of courage and humility. After all, the general was in a position of power and could have easily gotten away with what he did. But he chose to come forward and admit his mistake. This is an important lesson for us all. We should never be afraid to admit our mistakes. By doing so, we show our strength and maturity. What are your thoughts on this amazing story? Please let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing content. Thank you for watching. We hope that you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos like this, please leave a like and subscribe. We appreciate your support, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.